houses, gardens and other places, including bars and restaurants, is Calderdale in West Yorkshire. I'm joined now by Josh Fenton-Glynn, who represents the Calder ward as a Labour councillor. Very good evening to you. First of all, your reaction to the way the news was broken yesterday evening, a little bit later than this, about these new restrictions.
It's obviously slightly disappointing for us that we had a bit of an inkling that it might happen, but we didn't actually find out until 9:30 when it was announced by tweet that our area would be locked down. So then we had quite a lot of residents and businesses not knowing what to do the next day, not knowing how the rules applied to them, and we had to do quite a lot of kind of rushing to keep up as local councillors.
And do you think that you've been able to do that today? Do you think that that news has now trickled through and there has been effective messaging so that everyone in your ward this evening is aware of the new rules?
I think it's getting through. I think the rules in themselves aren't that clear. I think, when the rules were much more rigid, it was obviously very clear. But the state we're in now, because I think perhaps the argument hasn't been made as well as it can and people haven't been taken through the logic, I get a lot of people calling me up saying, am I allowed to go on holiday? My day started at 6:30 with business getting in touch with me saying, should we open up today? Should we tell our clients that they can't come in? And it's kind of been questions like that all day. And so I think, perhaps a bit more clarity might have been a way to go. And maybe that would have taken people with us and been able to kind of get the public health reasons for doing this out a bit better.
What do you make of the suggestions that perhaps the government had been spooked into making this announcement because it was the eve of Eid, a big Islamic holiday, and they suddenly panicked and thought, goodness me, tomorrow lots of people are going to be visiting each other's houses to celebrate this, and hang on a minute, we don't actually know where the R rate's at.
Look, Eid shouldn't have been a surprise to this government. It's been fixed time for quite a long time. If they were spooked into it, I think that says more about their kind of long-term planning than it does anything else. And either way, I think if at 9:30 on Christmas Eve we were all told that we couldn't visit our family, I can't imagine how cross my mum would have been.
The Chief Medical Officer saying we are at the absolute limit of what we can do in terms of opening up society. Lots of people will be listening to that and wondering what's coming next. And we heard from him that school's an absolute priority. Can you foresee a situation where we'll have some more freedoms taken away in order to make sure that children's welfare is put first?
I think that would absolutely make sense. I think there's a bit of a false dichotomy about can we open up safely or risk the economy? The only way we're going to get the economy going is if people feel safe. We're one of the places that chose not to open our schools early, and I think the more recent events have kind of vindicated that we just didn't believe that it could be done safely, and we kind of didn't want to see the R rate going further up. And we need to get control of this virus by September so that families can confidently send their children to school, because it is absolutely vital to get kids back to school. But these kind of mixed messages don't help. If we've got clear messages, then people can follow the rules. Calderdale had one of the lowest infection rates when the rules were clear, and I just would urge the government to be really clear in the rules and also just level with people for why we have those rules, why the 2 metres matters, why wearing masks matters. They've got perfectly good evidence for all those things, but we need to have an open conversation with the public.
Josh Fenton-Glynn, Labour councillor for Calder ward in Calderdale. Thanks very much indeed.
Congratulations.
Some more